Hi, I'm Dr. Kathy Lucier, and welcome to Education 10, Principles of Learning Strategies. This class is about how you learn and how you can learn better. Module 9B. Okay, I've had you thinking about how to use your notes to practice better memory recall when you're getting ready to study for your exams or your essays. Now I'm going to talk about using metacognition or thinking strategies for taking tests. You probably do these strategies before a test, right? For example, you probably think about, okay, what chapters or lectures does this test cover? How many questions are there going to be on it? What format are they going to be in? Maybe what type of questions are they going to ask? Because that'll change what I study for it. Or what points are the different questions worth? But what about your thinking during a test? Do you monitor that very much? Maybe think about, do you read the question and then pause to think of the answer before reading the different options so that the wrong ones don't distract you? Do you underline or circle key words in the question to help you focus? If you can't figure out the correct answer, do you use clues from other questions, even questions from other sections? If there's a word in the question that you don't know, can you maybe read the question without that word and figure out what it's asking anyways? Monitoring your understanding of what's distracting you in a question during the test can really help you perform better. It increases your ability to answer the question. It can also help you when you hit that dreaded question, the one that confuses you and makes you stuck, where you just can't get past it. You know what one I'm talking about? It's the one that you reread 2 or 3 times trying to figure out what they're asking. Now, the problem with guessing, because a lot of us just default to guessing then, is that on true-false questions, you only get like 50-50. Or maybe on multiple choice questions, you might have 1 out of 4 chances of being right, unless you're strategic. If you're metacognitively planning and monitoring what is going on during the test, then you can be strategic in how you tackle that question. By planning how to handle it, you're able to access prior knowledge to the topic and the class learning objectives to maybe narrow down what's going on. Maybe you're using knowledge about assessment procedures, or you're just even recalling research to help give you clues about this question. So what is a strategic guess? For example, I could turn a guess into a strategic guess by monitoring what's confusing me in the question and using my prior knowledge about how regular tests are written versus how standardized tests are written. Now, what I mean by that is, in a standardized test, we control all these issues and patterns that we know distract or confuse students. Okay, well, if I know that we control all those in a standardized test, maybe I'll look for what those things are in a regular test where I know they're probably not being controlled. That might give me a really good idea about what's messing me up in this question. So here, let me show you some examples of some typical things that you might spot in a regular question that could be giving you a clue or giving you a little help. Okay, so what about emergency guessing? Now, emergency guessing is where you should use metacognition about where you are on the test. How far are you from the end? And the consequences of different parts of the test being answered to help focus your attention on what's most critical to address. For example, if you're running out of time, you might use your knowledge about how many points is this question worth And how many points are the other questions I haven't gotten to worth? It might help you decide of whether or not you could use context clues, whether or not you have time to figure it out, whether or not you should just move forward with a different plan. How about this? Let's try an example out. Let's say you have 4 questions left and you're stuck and running out of time. This is where metacognition, thinking about the test and where you are on the test and the consequences of each question in the test, can help you make a decision. For example, here's 2 scenarios, 2 options. First, mark all of one letter on the rest of the test. Or second, skip this harder question and go to the next set of questions. Which one is better? I've written down some things you might be thinking about as you are trying to decide. Being aware of the consequences of the question can help you pick one of these options. That's emergency guessing, but it's strategic. Now, giving you a strategy for reading test questions and even for emergency guessing. Why am I doing this? Well, I wanted you to know this information because it could potentially lower your test anxiety, enough to improve your recall of what you studied. It also may make you stop and think about spotting what's tripping up, your information processing during a test. Sometimes you get stuck and you start panicking, or you start feeling like you didn't study the right thing, when in fact, you can address what's going on by spotting what's distracting you. And it can help you not only lower your anxiety, but improve your response. So let's try this out. Let's have you use metacognition to monitor your thinking during a quiz. I call this activity Bad Quiz, and it's in this week's module list. You're going to practice spotting all the distractors in a really badly written quiz, and I can say that because I wrote it. It's a flipped quiz. I give you the quiz with all the answers, and you need to tell me what's wrong with the questions. What's distracting you? Okay? Have fun with the activity, and thanks for listening.